Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. I hope you've had a great few days. I was going to say a few days, but a couple of days, I suppose. Depends when you started. When you started celebrating time off from work, time off for the children from school, all those sort of things. It's all personal thing, isn't it? So if you're retired, maybe every day is a celebration, and I wouldn't blame you if it was. But I hope you've had a good couple of days. And as I say, if you've had Christmas parties and things like that. Do you have Christmas parties anymore if you don't work? That's a good question, because obviously if you're at work you have your Christmas do, don't you? Well, some people do. I suppose I could have had a Christmas do, but there'd have just been me and John, and we might as well just have waited for Christmas Day. But yeah, so do you have, is there such a thing? Do people have parties? I remember years and years ago, let's see how long, 25 years ago, I wouldn't have thought twice about having a party. It was just part and parcel of what I did. And now I would run a mile, put me in my Crocs and pyjamas, and I'm a very happy girl. Oh, hi Abby, yes, Merry Christmas. I got lots of comments already, that's lovely. Sometimes I can see them and sometimes I can't. But let's just refresh my page and then I can see them on my pooter and I can say hello to people, which is lovely. So let's get the comments up. Let's have a look. Here we go. So hello to Chris. In fact, let me get my screen sorted. See if I can get your. That's better. You can't see what I can see. And I always set this up beforehand and then I fiddle with it and change the whole thing. So Merry Christmas to Sue and Nicola, Michelle, another Sue, Judy, Kath, Marion, Mairead, Susan. Oh, Susan, how are you? How's Scotland? Oh, cold. Tina, Abigail, Merry Christmas. Melba, Sharon, and Marie. I might not be able to do everybody because there's a lot of people watching already. Hi, Leslie. Hello, Cheryl. Hello, Shirley. I hope you're feeling 100% now, Shirley, because you've been poorly. And Kath, hope you're feeling 100%. Hello, Cindy and Chris and Pippa and Jean and Judith and Helen, Carita and Joanna. Oh, hi, Joanna. Thank you for my parcel today. That I've very much appreciated. Oh, hi, Alison. Haven't seen you for ages. Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I did. When did I see you? I saw you at the Textiles East, was it? I think it was Textiles East. It's always lovely to bump into you. And Carol and Lorraine and Chris. It's a dress, Chris. It's a popsy dress. You might have known I'll be wearing. I've got several of these now, so you'll see 2 or 3 over the next few days. Hello, Ali. Had a lovely time last 2 days with family and friends. Well, that has got to be, hasn't it, the best thing ever. If you can get together with family and friends, then you've cracked it. Sometimes we can't manage it, can we, through the year? There's things get in the way, people have got other appointments, it all gets very busy and diaries get filled. And I think Christmas you kind of leave free for families, don't you, I think? So you can then slot people in if you get an invite, or you want to invite them. I think we tend to sort of leave Christmas perhaps a bit freer than we normally would. I don't know. What do you think? Do you keep Christmas kind of free, and in the hope that you'll have people come to you or that you go to them? But I don't know about parties. Who's had a party? A proper knees up party with eggnog. I don't know what that is, but that's the word, isn't it? Eggnog. Mince pies. Stuff like that. Hi, Sharon. Oh, you draw a circle yes, thank you. Yes, I did. Abigail told me, and I thanked Andy on text, and I hope he shared that with you. I much appreciated, really, really, really. So Lorna as well. I really can't. Yeah, it was Alison. Thank you. I really can't say all the names. So welcome to everybody that's watching at the moment. Our figures are brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Check messages. Check messages. The sound is really out of sync. Oh no. Really? It shouldn't be. The only thing I could do is start again, because there's nothing more annoying, is there? The other thing is I can, we'll be on the overhead quite a lot, so I could actually leave it as it is and just go on to overhead. So apologies, I'll put my hand over my mouth, because there's nothing worse than being out of sync, and I've had it all set up for the last hour, so that's pretty annoying. Anyway, let's crack on. Let's crack on. Let me just, there we go, I'll just go to the overhead camera. So apologies to everybody. I'm not going to start again because you've all joined me, and we'll keep it as it is. It's just one of those things. Maybe I'll get John to edit it a bit later. Right, so the first 3 nights of the 12 Days of Christmas, and welcome to the 12 Days of Christmas. And just a quick sort of bit of housekeeping. If you want the first download, well, if you want the rough approximate amount of fabric you'll need, and I've been quite generous, then that's on the website, and the first lot of instructions is also on the website, which was uploaded at 10 o'clock this morning, and you might well get them the same sort of time tomorrow. Okay, so look out for that, and I'll always tell you when they're on there. Oh, it's fun guessing what you're going to say. Oh, I'm sorry, Pippa, that it's so bad. I don't know why. These things are sent to trial us, aren't they? Not to worry, we shan't worry about it a jot. Yes, so we're going to make, for the first 3 days, this block keeper, which I thought was different. I thought it would be something that you could keep forever. You could, I mean, I've used the new Bumbleberry fabric, which I got from the Fabric Townhouse. Now, I'm pretty sure they've still got some. So if you like these colours, brilliant. If I flip it over, you get the other new ones. There's more, I think, but so it's quite different, isn't it? It's quite autumnal, and it's almost spring-like, really. So I'm going to keep it that way because I like those colours best. The block keeper that I'm going to make is made with different fabric, only because I didn't want to use all of this fabric again to make another block keeper. So after the 3 days, I'll be reverting back to this fabric, okay? And then I've got a block keeper and 9 blocks that are going to match, which is, it doesn't really matter, to be fair, because you could use those blocks independently of this, so it's not important. But I got a lovely set of they're large fat quarters. I think it's French fabric, and that's why it's large. And I really truly can't remember the name of the stand, which was at Rowley Mile when I met Alison, as it happens, and they had these bundles of gorgeous fabrics. As I say, I'm pretty sure they're French because they're wider than normal fabrics. So they're large, what I would call large fat quarters. So I'm going to use these for my first 2 blocks, and then to construct the block keeper as well. I've used calico inside. So when you get to day 3 and you get the instructions for this, what to cut, etc., I've used calico. So, you know, you can decide whether you're going to do that or whether you're going to use posh fabric. It's entirely up to you, but I thought that would be ideal. Yes, so I will be using this for tonight and tomorrow night. So don't be alarmed, I'm going to still revert back to these colours and the blue on the back to carry on the 9 blocks, as I wanted it all to match. Like I say, it really doesn't make a difference. And these are the 3 colours that I'm using tonight. So it's a medium, it's a dark, and it's a light. And it looks quite good on screen, the difference in the colourways, in the tones. So you might want to think about that every time we look at a block, look at the tones and see if it works. So if anybody can remember where I got these from, that would be good, because then you've got some sort of idea if you wanted to get a set. They're really, really lovely. Yeah, so this is what we're going to make. Now I've nearly pre-cut everything, only because I know I was going to chat tonight to start off with, and that always delays everything, especially the first night. But to be honest, I'm not going to explain too much, so that's good, you won't get too confused. So as I say, we're going to make this block keeper, and one of the things that you'll need to have is natural wadding. So, well, 80-20, bamboo, wool, cotton. You want a fluffy, like a, we're also almost looking at like when you used to do fuzzy felt when you was a kid, and things would stick to this sort of thing. If you used like a polyester wadding, it won't stick, which defeats the object. So you need a wadding that is an 80-20, a cotton, a wool, a bamboo, something like that, where you've got that lovely soft texture, and that will allow your blocks to stick. I've only done, I suppose, 8. What have I done? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So not sure I counted that right. But anyway, I've done enough to do 9 blocks, which is great. But you might want to do extras. So each page will hold 2 blocks. So it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay, so when we come to it, and I give you all the instructions, if you do what I've done, then you'll be able to put 12 blocks in here, which is quite a useful amount. But you can add. It's got this sort of spine on the back, which is quite nice. I mean, once it's full, I suppose it would puff out a little bit. But while it's still, so it would sort of perhaps stand a bit more proud. But while it's still empty, it's going to kind of lie flat. But I don't think it really matters to you. It's just quite nice to have something to contain all your gorgeous bits of stitching in. And don't forget, you could use this for other things. So if you're making a bag, store all your bits in here so it keeps it lovely and tidy and dust free. I think that would be a marvellous idea. And then we've got the ties on the side. So it closes. You can please yourself whether you do that or not, but I quite like a bit of a bow, as you all know, a bit of a bow fan. Let me see if I've got any more messages, comments. I haven't, but maybe that's me, maybe that's you just concentrating on what I'm saying. Let me just go on to my Facebook, so just to make sure I'm not missing anything, because these things have a habit of being silly. I think we're okay, actually. Let me just turn that down. Turn it down. There we go. Yes, Patricia says lovely green. I think that's the last comment. Great. Good. Okay, so the card deck we're using is the first one. Now, I'm pretty sure it's the first one. The others I've got numbers for, but this one I haven't. So I'm assuming this is the first one. It's the blue one. And we've taken the blocks out of here. And as usual, I'm only giving you one size. I think that's pretty fair. How many pages do you think you could put in? Good question. Well, as I say, I've put in, you'll see that I've done 3 rows of stitching, and that stitching is in the middle of one big piece. Okay, so that's quite a few. You can, well, if you think 4 front and back, 12 pages, I think you could get 1 in here and 1 in here quite comfortably. So another 12 and then a 4 and then a 4. Is that 20? So you could definitely add more. But I thought, well, you know what, I'll keep it like this because I actually quite like it like that. But you could obviously add more. And in actual fact, even if you're doing a massive quilt or project and you needed more, you could still go into near the seams here. There's no reason why you can't. It's up to you, isn't it, how much you can squeeze in, because you've got to be able to open up those big pieces of wadding and stitch it through. When we stitch from this side, not the other side, and I'll show you obviously how to do that when we come to it. So yeah, you could add 2 more bits. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure, as I say, this is card deck 1, which a lot of people got at the time, because how old is it now? Is it a couple of years old now? When we first got it on Amazon, when we were first very excited about it, and yeah, it's absolutely wonderful. And of course, what I've done is I have put that onto the information sheet. I know this is far away, and I'm going to zoom in a second. And because this is something that other people have purchased, and it's something that you can still buy from wherever, I've covered up the other sizes. Otherwise, that is absolutely not fair to anybody that owns it or anybody that's selling it. So I've restricted us to the 12, it says 12 inch, but actually it's 12.5 inch block. Okay, I know you can't see it. Maybe if you've done the printout today, you will see it. But I'll zoom that in a little bit closer in a minute. So every night when we use a block from the card deck, we will be sort of blanking those out, which I think is very fair, and I think that's quite reasonable, don't you? Yeah. So tonight we're doing triangles and stripes, and if I put that on my desk, I'll pop that down on the floor, and I'm going to zoom in. You can see I'm quite a long way away. Oop. Okay, it'll have to focus just for a moment. There we go. Now the great thing, if you've never used these before, they're quite a nice thing to actually use. And when you first look at it, on the back you've got the designer's wear in black and white. And actually that's quite good because that gives you the tones. That gives you the tones. So you can see there that we've got 3 different tones, dark, medium and light. And that's actually quite a really good guide. So when we first look at this, let me get it in the middle. You'll think, well, I don't understand any of it. Actually, no, it's all numbers. It's all numbers, it's all squares, rectangles, it's crossing out bits, and lots of measurements there. I haven't got a clue. I don't blame you. So what we'll have to do is we'll do one at a time, and then hopefully that'll help you no end. When we look at, I think this is lovely because this is something you could colour in if you wanted to. I would take a photocopy of it, or a scan. That's the tone one again, which you had on the front. This is obviously the coloured version, which you can follow that if you want to. And this is how you make it up. And when you look at it, you think, well, how is that? Well, it shows you, for instance, A and B up here in this corner here, they're not joined together, but they are, say, for instance, here or here. So you know that those two need to be stitched together. C and D obviously need to be stitched together. And so that's given you really your top row, which we can do. And then on that middle row, the C's and D's are joined together, but they're not joined to that centre bit. Now that means you've got to put that centre bit together first, okay? Well, when you come to that row, do it before, do it after, but when you do that row, that one can be made in one fell swoop, and we can go through that. Of course we can as we do it. Oh, Di says, love this card box and I've used it lots of times. Well, it is fab. It's just fab, and why wouldn't we? Oh, Viv, you'll never last, darling. And why not? Like I say, the only stipulation is that I will never show you the other sizes, because if you love it, like we all do, then you can go and make a purchase somewhere. And if your local sewing shop sells them, even better. All right, so we're already at 20 past, so it's a good job I did some cutting. So I'm going to pop that over here, so apologies for making it blurry again. And I'm going to bring in my pre-cut fabrics, which might have to take it out just a wee bit so we can see the whole thing, bear with. Sorry. I never know which way to go with my cameras, and how many years have I been working these cameras? Come on, come on, come on, come on. That's it, that'll do. So I've got these lined up, and you can see I've put the letters on. You don't have to do that. It's just me. I didn't want to cut these and then forget when I came to you. I think, which one is that? So I have cut them in order. So on the actual card, it tells you for A, and A is denoted by these triangles here. It tells you to cut 2 squares, and I know now that this is a little bit too far away, so you do need to get the download. And the squares that you're going to cut are 3 7/8. Okay, so let me just lift that up to the camera. You might just about be able to see that. So it says A, cut 2, and the square size is 3 7/8. Do you see? And then it also says you need to cut them diagonally in half, and that makes your triangles, and the triangles are here, here, here and here. Okay, so we can do that, and we'll sort of try and do this fairly swiftly. So I'm going to move all of these out of the way. I've got my 2 A's. They've been cut already. They've been best pressed as well. They're like cardboard. And I'm going to get my cutting mat, and I've got Abigail's ruler today. Now you might want to think about, because I'm using stripes, and stripes can be, you know, we're looking at directional fabric really. So I'm going to make sure that the stripes are going the same way, and then I'm just going to diagonally cut across the centre. Just remember, that's all it's telling you to do. If you've got the download, you'll be able to see that a lot better. So straight across, be brave, go for it, don't hesitate. So now we've got our A's. Okay, I'll keep the A there, so then I'll know, you know, that, and I'm going to put that back on my mat, which is over here. I'll bring it in a minute. So the other one is B, and B is these darker triangles. Here, here, here and here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 in the centre. So look for all the B's. It says you need to cut 4. The size is 3 7/8, spookily, and you need to cut them diagonally again. Okay, so we're going to look for B in my little pile, and we hopefully we've got 4. Pretty sure we have. Get them lined up. You might want to do this one at a time, or you might want to do it in a heap like me. Depends how brave you feel. So we're just going, oh, I'm just going to check, make sure all the stripes are going the same way. See, I nearly didn't. There we go. I don't think it makes a difference. I don't think I want to worry when I stitch them together how they look at all. So, you know, there we go. So there's my B's. So the next one is C and D. Now you're going to say cut 4, it says, and you need 4. So actually you don't need to cut C and D at all. And your measurement is 2 by 6.5. Yeah, just looking at making sure I didn't do 2.5 by 6.5. So it's 2 by 6.5, and that's for both. Because if you look at the diagram here, you can see that C and D is actually the same size and everything. So we'll then look at E, and E is you cut 1 piece, 4 1/4 inches square, and then you cut it into 4. So you're going to cut diagonally twice. Yeah, does that make sense? So let's find E in my little pile. There we go. And I'm just going to cut straight across the middle that way. And if you've got your rotating mat, rotate, or just turn your little mat. I find a little mat quite useful for this sort of thing when you're having to rotate, and cut again. There we go. So that's that done. So slowly, carefully. So again, I'm just going to lay these on top of each other. I've got my E there. I think I know that's an E, but you know. And of course, because we've cut these diagonally, that you're going to have 2 going one way. Let's get it. two going one way and two going the other. But you know what? I'm really okay. I mean, I'm cool with stuff like that. I'm really cool with stuff like that. Right. So the last one is F, and F says you need to cut one. Apologies. You need one. In other words, you're not going to cut into it again. And your square is 3.5 inches square. Okay, so everything is on there that you need. So if we have a look at my little mat again, here we go. So we've got A's cut in diagonally, we've got B's cut diagonally, we should have 8 of those now, C's and D's, 4 of each. We've got E's, which is one of those cut diagonally into 4. And then we've got one F, which is in the middle. And F, as you can see, is right in the middle there. And it's quite handy now when we put this block together that you've got all of those letters. You don't have to do that unless you have difficulty remembering. And then you could use your heat erasable pen, make sure that it doesn't leave residue, or just use a little post-it and put the letter on, and then you can follow it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put our A's and B's together. So we will do all 4. Okay, so we're not going to just make that row, we'll do all 4, and then we'll put our C's and D's together. Okay, so we'll try to be a little bit more organised. And then we'll go for that big centre block, which actually is really nice and easy. So I'll put that to one side, and my little pieces, and I'm going to bring my machine in and get rid of me rotary cutter. Now, as I say, apologies for doing this in advance of the cutting, but I knew that because this evening is always slower than normal, so I'm just going to bring this in. And so what we need is an A and a B. So there's an A and a B. Now if you want to, you could leave these on your pile, so they could be the last ones almost, because they've got the letter on, so that will help you. And we're just going to put right sides together, and we're just going to stitch all of those together. And because these are cut precisely, you don't need to trim these down. Okay, trust the process, and you don't need to trim them down. What you do need to do, my top tip, is to do a scant quarter inch. A scant quarter inch. You can always trim back, but you can't add on, as my needlework teacher would have said. So give yourself a fighting chance. I find because these are so accurately cut, they don't give you any leeway, whereas normally if you're doing half square triangles, you usually cut them bigger and you trim them down, but with this you don't. So it's important to you know, as I say, do a scant. So a scant, all that means is that the seam allowance is almost like a thread less. So if you think of the width of a thread, you know, minuscule, then that's how much less you are stitching. So it's not a huge amount, but it's a lot when you've got a lot of blocks stitched together. Now, to be honest, I haven't noticed if this has a right side or a wrong side, so if it has, well, there we are. We shall see. We might get some light and dark shades. So there's our 4 triangles for the corners, yeah? So if I bring that up, we've just stitched, if I use the coloured version, we've stitched that one, that one, that one and that one. We can press them in a minute. But now what we're going to do is stitch C and D together. So we end up with the 4 C's and D's, yeah? So it's quite easy, you know, when you in the groove. So you need one of each. Now with this one, I've got a stripe and like a gingham check which I think is quite nice. I think because they're woven, we don't have a right and wrong. So again, you're just looking at a scant 1/4 inch. So as I say, if you think the width of a thread, that's how much less you are stitching. And like I say, it gives you a little bit of leeway. Is everybody all right? We've sort of launched ourselves into. I would have talked for a bit longer, but as I was out of sync, which is a shame, I cut my chat short. So while I'm stitching this, tell me what your best Christmas present was, and tell me what you did Christmas Day. Where did you go? Were you at home? Did you cook? Did you stay at a hotel? That would have been nice. Did you go to your children's? Did they come to you? What did you do Christmas Day? And what was your best present? What was your best present? I would like to know because I'm nosy. all my darker greens are a little, can you see they're all a little bit longer? So, and I hadn't had any sherry, so I don't know why that is. Perhaps I was in a bit of a hurry cutting them. Right, let me switch my little iron on, and we'll just separate our lovely pieces. And because I've best pressed all of these, they are absolutely beautiful to stitch. They really are. They're lovely, and they've kind of got a, I don't know, a somewhat stiffer. They're definitely a stiffer feel about them. So I'm going to get my little ironing mat, and we'll just give these a lovely iron. So let's get you sorted on the overhead again. Push that away. Did anybody get a sewing machine for their Christmas? That would have been nice, wouldn't it? Cool. Blimey, I think somebody would have been in favour. Now, if you want to, you can go by the rules of pressing to the dark side or the light side, or not the light side, or the dark side, I mean. Helen says, went out for Christmas lunch, so nice not to stress over it. Oh, too right, too right. Let me bring my iron in. Let me turn it up a bit as well. Yes, it's always lovely if somebody else cooks and does the washing up. That's really a lovely treat. Now be very careful when you press these that you really do open these seams up, because you don't want any folded bits here. And by setting, I mean that to me, oh, now that's got glue on it, so let's just move that. Because that, when I first pressed it, I could feel that it wasn't quite pressed properly. I've got Bonder web on the back of my piece. Lynn says, we went to Brixham. Oh, I just missed that. To our daughter's partner and children. It was beautiful down there, seeing the boats in the harbour. Oh, lovely. Yes. Oh no, Pat. Oh, gosh, I hope you are on the mend. Oh, dear me. Maggie says she had son and grandson round all day and they did all the cooking and washing up. I had a new machine a week before Christmas. Oh my word. Oh, I think it was a Janome, wasn't it? Jean says these box sets are great. Our own on our own over Christmas, Lizzie. New headphones for Christmas. Or does that mean hubby can't listen to me chirping on? Is that what it is? I don't blame you. I have a headset in the motorhome, so John can watch the football and I can listen to a live or whatever happens to be. So I'm just setting that seam, and all that means is I'm pushing those stitches into the fabric, and that gives you a much better crease. It really does. So let's just get those done. I'm just enjoying the ironing. Oh dear me. Oh, Caroline says she spent Christmas with her eldest sons and all her children, daughter-in-law, my granddaughters, and one of my sisters. Wow, lots of people. Fantastic. How super. That was lovely. What a lovely day that must be. Gosh, that must have been ever so busy. Oh, yeah. Right, so you can see I'm being careful at the points here, just making sure that those are pushed out. Setting the seams is good, but you don't want to be too gung-ho about these corners here, because they will curl in if they're not if you're not, you know, keeping an eye on them. Yeah, so as I say, the pressing the seams beforehand is always great. Always setting the seams. There we go. So those are all our pieces done now, and they look lovely, don't they? Quite like the green, very fresh looking, lovely and fresh. I'll just turn my iron off and we'll just pop that to one side. So we could make these up, but I think what we'll do is we will make the centre square, and then we will stitch them all together in one fell swoop. Oh, Sarah says, spent Christmas with the daughters, grandchildren and great-grandchildren and lots of good food. How super. How super. Oh, lovely. Right, so we're looking at this centre square here, which is made in one piece. You might be able to see it better there. But it's consisted of 4 B's, 4 E's and an F. Okay, so it's this centre square here. So if we look at it this way, I'll try and keep it on the screen. It's not so easy because I'm quite zoomed in. Let's pop it there for the moment. In fact, actually it could go there. It could go there. So there's our F, which is the centre one, and the E's are the lighter ones on mine. So this is my lighter fabric, and we're going to put these on like this. In fact, I wonder if that would, oh, it don't make any difference. I'm thinking about the stripes. I don't think it makes any difference. So that's how we want it. That's our first round. But what we need to do is to do these two first, press them, and then add those two. Okay, so we're going to do these two onto there first. So let's take those away. And what we can do is find the centre. I mean, the other way you can do this is just to flip it like this. Let's do it like this way. And then when you come to put the other one on, you want it so these points in the middle are literally sitting on top of each other, okay? And then you know you're thereabouts there. If not, the other way you can do it is fold these in half, give it a squidge, give it a little press. Find the centre of this, give it a little finger press, and then you can marry those two up. Okay, and that's the I'm going to say that's the proper way. But we've always got other ways of doing these things. As long as those 2 points, they kind of like that, you can't go far wrong. So we'll just eyeball that, pop a pin in. You don't have to. And now we can stitch down here. Don't forget we're using a scant 1/4 inch. I find that to be the best way with these card decks. I mean, they're absolutely fantastic. I just like to do that scant 1/4 inch. Has anybody else found that with these? Maybe it's just me. Right, so let's go. Oh. It went to embroidery setting. That wouldn't have been fun. So let's stitch along here. How funny would that have been? Start stitching my name or something. Oh, Caroline says, yes, it was lovely. We took a walk to the village and for a couple of hours too. How lovely. Yeah, we had a walk around our village. Oh gosh, it was so gusty and cold. Very cold. So there's our first 2 pieces. That's lovely. So I'm just going to switch my iron on again. And I'll keep you there because it's just as easy to keep you there. And all I'm going to do is iron these 2 seams open. So set the seams first and then push them out. but just be careful that you're pushing all the way out, right to this corner here and right to that corner there. Good. Is everybody all right? Is anybody sewing along tonight, or are you just watching tonight? I wouldn't blame you. We've got 12 11 more. We've got plenty of time. There we go. It's not quite hot enough, but that's fine. I'll leave my iron on this time. So there we are. So we've got it looking like that. And now we're going to put the other two on. So if I do it like that, you can see what that looks like. And the same rules apply. So you can find the centre as I did before, or you can just use your judgment as to where that should be positioned. And I think we're about right with that. As long as you're covering the corners, then you're okay. I think sometimes it gets a little bit too much if you're given too much instruction. So there we go. So we've put those two pieces on, and now I'm just going to stitch those down that side as well, and we'll give it another press. So I've kept my iron on. So let's bring this in. And oops, give that a little stitch. There we go. We haven't got it on embroidery mode this time, which is good. Always helpful if you haven't got it on embroidery mode. Watching, how do you know what width to cut the rectangles? Because it's on the card, Joe. Perhaps you missed the beginning. Everything is, it tells you exactly here what to cut. And if you go to my website and find the tab in the menu called the 12 Days of Christmas, the first download has a picture of this. So it gives you all the measurements. If you're not sure, watch back from the beginning. This will go onto YouTube on my playlist for 12 Days of Christmas. And then you can perhaps understand how that works. It's a great system, I have to say. There we go. Yeah, and thank you for asking. Oh, tomorrow machine is going in for a service. Oh, Jean, is that the only one you've got? Which is fine. I'm not knocking that. Crikey, I think I would have a little bit of a panic attack if my machine went in. Well, all my machines need a service. I'm thinking how I can stagger them. Oh dear. Right, so just push those out again. There we go. And you can trim all these dog ears off if you want to, and you can just make sure that your square is square. But if you've gone slowly and carefully, you should be fine. You should be absolutely fine. So if you want to, you can trim those dog ears off, which we can do. Saves doing it. Well, yeah, actually, I probably wouldn't do it later, but it makes it look a little bit prettier. There we go. So let's just get rid of the bits. Maybe. I can hear Millie, she's outside. I think she wants to come in. There we go. That looks really neat, doesn't it? So the next part is to add the other one. So let's just go on the overhead for that. So this is what we've just made. So the next ones, let's have a look at the card again. The next ones are B, and B is this one here. Okay, and it's the one where you've cut 4 and you've divided them in diagonally in half, so you end up with 8. And you've already used 4 on these squares here, so you're using the remaining 4 on your centre block. Okay, so hopefully that's fairly clear. Lynn says it was cold in Devon. They had the road gritters out on Christmas Day on the M5 last night. Oh, wow. Gosh. Right, so we're going to do exactly the same. We're going to just make it's almost like you're making a little house, aren't you? With a couple of extensions either side. And a basement, which is there. Okay, so that's exactly the same as what we've just done. All right. So we'll take 2 away, and we'll do those second. Same rules apply. This time you've already got a halfway mark. And I'll give you a little tip now in a sec when I come to stitch. Find your centre and just pop that over the top. So you want your centre line to go where the point is, so there. Okay, that's where you want your centre line, not here or over here. You want it over the top, so you can sort of look just to make sure, and look top and bottom, and you should be there or thereabouts. Okay, so let's flip that round, and once again, centre. Make sure you're putting it in the centre like that. Line it up, pop a pin in or a clip. Okay, when we come to stitch this time, we're stitching on this side because we can see where the crossover point is of our seams, and we're going to aim to just this side of the seam. So we're not going to go over the top of the seam, we're going to go just, well, what if I choose, well, let me do that one because that one's got a bit of a knot of thread in it. So on this one I'm just going to come into more to the right of where those stitches cross. Okay, so we're not going right on that stitch line, we're just coming in a tiny amount. I suppose it's really when if you did a scant 1/4 inch you'd be about right. Okay, so let's pop that under the machine, make sure that we've got everything still lined up, and we'll stitch down that. As I say, you're stitching from the wrong side so you can see where your crossover line is, just there. And if you don't get that perfect, it really doesn't matter. It's just good if I tell you. And then you can please yourself. So let's do the other one. Just take your time. You can go as fast or slow as you want to. Jean says, my other machine has a needle threader, but I find it hard when my big machine is an automatic threader. Push button and down. Oh yes, it's fantastic. There you go. I think John will have to go and get Millie in. She's barking away. It's freezing out there. Right, so set your seams. It's a bit repetitive. Flip them back. The trouble, sometimes she goes to the back door, barks and barks and barks to come in, and then she just sits there because she's so used to getting a treat. Just, you know, for coming in. Honestly, that dog is so spoilt. Right, so there we are. So we'll just add the other sides. Give it a squidge, get a pin, line it up, pop a pin in. Same again. I wonder if John's gone to sleep. He went to football today and he came back, he'd lost his voice. See it? I'm sorry if you can't see it. There we go, it's a bit better. He'd lost his voice because obviously he was telling the referee what to do. So there we are. We've pinned those on, so we're now going to stitch them, but we're going to stitch them from that side so we can see where the crossover points are, you know, where the seams cross over. Okay, so let's bring that in. Can you hear her barking? Don't be worried, she's a Tibetan Terrier, so she's used to snow. Well, you know, she's built for that, and she's very, very furry, so she's not cold. She just likes her home comforts. Plus, she's probably after a treat. So just go the right-hand side of your crossover point. Well, your machine will run beautifully after it's been serviced, Jean. Gosh, I think we sort of put it off, don't we? And then when it comes back, you think, oh, why didn't I do this sooner? This machine was playing up, so I gave it a really good going over. It's all right now, touch wood. There we go. So let's pop that let's get the get you on the right view. There we go. Give those an iron. Super. Push those out. Don't forget to push those corners out. Oh, that's just looking lovely. And push those corners out. There we are. Beautiful. So once again we can just trim our little dog ears. I think they look more like cat's ears actually than a dog. Well, I suppose it depends what dog you've got. What are is it the Frenchies? The Frenchy dogs, they have sticky out ears, don't they? Sticky up ears, I think. I'm not a dog connoisseur, but I think they have sticky up ears. And Alsatians have sticky up ears. Anyway, right, let's just give it another quick press. Beautiful. So now we can start making this up. So this won't take long at all. So the first row, let's have a quick look, are the A and the B, and we've got an A and a B on the end. And don't forget your light goes to the outside, so like that. And then we've got our C's and D's going across, and don't forget our light goes on the top here. If you look at this, A, C and A, they're all light. That's a sort of medium tone, which I chose my gingham for, and the B's are the darker shade. Okay, so we can put that row together. So you can pin it, get that bottom one lined up, and I'm going to go by the lighter colour, I think. I'm not sure why that's a little bit longer. And try and keep your seams going like that, nice and neat. Okay, now let's get you on the side camera there. Just shift all my gear. That's lovely. Okay, immediately take the pin out. So we'll do top and bottom. Just try and get your corners to match there. Use a stiletto if you think your fingers are a little bit near. And oh, I can hear John going out now. I suppose I could have measured this just to make sure it was, when it was me cutting the gingham. It's just that wee bit longer. Okay, so that's that one. And if we have a look at it, that's what it looks like. Really pretty, very fresh, isn't it? So let's have a look at the other one. So we want one going like that, one going out, and this one going out. And we want the light this time to go on the bottom. So let's just have a quick look at the picture. So this is the one we're doing. So we're doing light going out, light coming out, and the light here on the bottom. Okay. So we'll just flip these over, and I'm just going to roughly pin that one to that one. And we'll get these stitched. Same again with just a scant 1/4 inch. Like I say, you can trim it, but you can't add it. And at the end of the day, if your blocks end up, I don't know, 12 1/4 or something, instead of 12 1/2, then make them all 12 1/4. Nobody's going to know except you. So let's get these corners together as best we can. So there's my bottom row done. Is that right? Yeah. Is it? Oh, is it like that? Oh no, have I done that one wrong? Yes, I've done that wrong. That's my D. Yes, that is wrong. Don't take any notice of me. If I show you, you want your light going out, and I've got it going up. That wants to come around like that. D is fine, C is fine. So I need to twiddle my squares. See, I wasn't taking a blind bit of notice. So that's okay. Just shows we can all make mistakes. I'm glad I noticed before I carried on. Let me try and do it. So it's always difficult when you're trying to show. I'm sure I had it right on my desk, on my machine before I stitched it. So let's not worry about the little bits. So what we want is for it to be like that. So let's have a look at it again. See, there's the light, there's the light, there's the light, there's the light. So yes, they are definitely wrong, Lizzie. Good, I'm glad somebody told me. So we'll just pin those. So don't do as I do, do as I say. And just, if you are going to be using your unpicker, somebody said the other day, I think it was John Scott, he said, was it? No, it might not have been John. Somebody said that it was the most used tool in your arsenal. I'm not sure about that. I think yes, it is a used tool, but not most used tool. Scissors, I think, would be your most used tool. So let's just, and you should have your little bauble bit underneath, like that. Okay, so let's just check that before we get gung-ho again. Let's make sure, yeah, I'm happy with that. You know what will happen, I'll stitch it and I'll probably done the same again. Right. Oh dear, right, let's get these stitched up. And then we're practically done. 3 rows of stitching together and they're done. And I've really took my time. I always say to John, I'll only be the hour, and it's always an hour and 5, or always an hour and 10, or and let's do the other side. But he's watching football, so he's a happy chap. Jeanette says, "Oh, wow, I didn't realise you were using the lock card decks." Yes. Well, I mean, I did say on my let's just get you lined up here. I did say on my introduction on my website that that's what I was using, but you might have missed that bit. Because it's good to know beforehand, isn't it, what we're using. In fact, let's have a look at that, because I want that seam to go, well look, you've got a choice here. The seam can come this way, or it can cross over that double bit there, or you can open it. Now I think in this instance I want to set that seam over like that. In fact, I'm going to open it. I think I'm going to be happier with an open seam. I can't remember what I did on the original one. Let's set it. I think I much prefer an open seam, I must admit. There's places, horses for courses, is that what they say? Horses for courses, something like that. Okay, we've done that one, it's this one. Right, so what we're going to do now is stitch each row together. We've still got, on this row we need to add our C's and D's. That's okay, we can do that in one go. Do that now. So we'll open this seam up and spread the load. That's all you're doing with the fabric. So if you're going to quilt, if you were to make this and quilt it quite heavily, you would want to really open those seams up, because you might break a needle. Now with the centre section, the light goes to the outside again. Okay, so your C's go to the outside. So let's try and get that right, Lizzie. So there's your C going out to the outside. So let's pop a pin in there. Again, we're going to stitch this on the wrong side because you've got that seam allowance here that you can use to try and get a fairly decent point. And let's just get you in here again. I don't know what's on the TV tonight. Is there anything decent on the TV? It's been a little dire, I thought. I tell you what I was watching before I came up to my workroom, and that's Mortimer and Whitehouse. Oh, I love those two together. I don't know. It's just the Gone Fishing programme, but they're so good together, and they're such good friends. Oh, it's lovely. Oh, Jean says she's done that before. Well, it's easy done, isn't it, Jean? Yes, easy done. We don't mind. We're big enough that we can just accept it and move on. Well, we could shell, but that's not going to make a jot of difference. You've still got to undo it and do it again. So, yeah, so who watches Mortimer and Whitehouse? Oh, it's just lovely. And they had Dawn French as a guest. It was their Christmas special I was watching. And they had Dawn French come visit them because she lives they were down in Cornwall. They invited her along, and that was lovely. It was only a little bit, so she didn't sort of interfere with the fishing. Now this time I'm going to push that seam out because there's nothing else to interfere with the seam, so there's no other layers there, so just pull that out and that will lie beautifully flat. So if you have a look, both my seams are going in. If you flip it over, you can see what that looks like. So now what we're going to do is put all these together. Now the only bit of lining up you're going to do is with these corner bits here. So if I bring these in, do you see? So these are the bits that you're lining up. So I would flip that over. We've got one with an open seam, one with a seam pressed to one side. You could open both seams if you want. Line that up as best as you can. You kind of are nesting one half of that seam. So it's just literally that one and that one. Make sure you've still got the light colour going to the outside. So if we do that, that's how it looks, yeah? So flip that over and get that lined up like so. And I would do this from the other side, not where the open seam is, but the other side. But you just got to be careful that where you've perhaps opened your seams up, that they don't get flipped. If they do, don't worry, I'll show you a tip on how to sort that out. But I'm going to come all the way down there. So let's go back to the side again. And we'll just go straight from that top corner. And we're going scant 1/4 inch. We're going to just try and make sure those seams sit nicely together. Come all the way down. I'm just holding. What you could do is use your stiletto to hold that down. I do like using my stiletto. You're looking for going just right of that crossover where the seam is. I'll just take that pin out. All the way down. Try and get those corners here to match. And then all you're going to do is just watch and make sure that your seams sit as you wanted them to be. Thanks, Kath. Oh, I love little Ted. Oh, where's little Ted? Is it behind me? Little Ted. Oh no, you mean, oh sorry, I beg your pardon. The dog on the dog on Mortimer and Whitehouse. Oh, he's so cute. He's so old now though, isn't he? Oh yeah, he's so lovely. He just sits there, and sometimes tonight he was like just snoring away. Oh, he was having a ball. Yeah. Sometimes he steals things, doesn't he? When Bob Mortimer does the cooking or makes something, sometimes he'll steal a little something. But you know what? You can forgive Ted. He's just lovely. Yeah, I do love it. Very relaxing programme. So there we are. We're just past the 8 o'clock, so I do apologise. I was trying to go slow deliberately, then obviously I went too slow. So let's just get you back on the overhead again. I've got a bit of a small mat going on here. Let's get my bigger. This is not quite 12.5, but it'll do. So again, when it comes to ironing this now, you could open these seams again. And if any of these are twisted, which they haven't, you could just snip into it sort of diagonally, and then when you come to press, it'll sit right. So let me just take this out a wee bit. There we go. So I won't. I'll give it a good press tomorrow morning. But when we look at the front, get rid of some of these bits. There we are. There's our lovely, lovely block. And this is called Triangles and Stripes. And I think that looks charming. It looks very fresh, doesn't it? So that's our first block. So if you want to keep up, that's the one that you're going to perhaps stitch tomorrow, or you could have stitched it tonight. It matters not when you do it. But I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to come back onto the front camera. You know I'm out of sync, so I do apologise. So tomorrow morning, the day 2 will be loaded onto the website, so you can go along there and download that, and you'll be ready for tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. So I'll bid you farewell. Have a fantastic rest of your evening. It's still Boxing Day, so get the sherry out, and I will see you tomorrow night at 7. Night night everybody. Thank you for watching. Thank you. Bye.